Welcome to Union Market District Radio, where we share stories from the intersection of culture and commerce. Today, we are recording live from the Media Lab at La Cosecha, El Estudio. I'm your host today, Andrea Lopez, local DC media personality and voice actor. I'm excited to bring a great conversation to you today as a part of our month-long program, VOCES LATINAS, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month at La Cosecha. It's great to be back at La Cosecha enjoying the food, drink, and ambiance it has to offer. I love bringing my family when they're in town visiting, and we enjoy the stores and delicious restaurants, from the pupusas to the empanadas to the frozen piscos, one of our favorites. We always love stopping by and spending time here. La Cosecha is a contemporary market celebrating Latin American culture and conversation. It is located in the heart of the Union Market District in Washington, D.C. La Cosecha was created with a mission to foster entrepreneurship and support social, cultural, and economic prosperity locally and throughout Latin America. It does that beyond the doors of the space through the La Cosecha Foundation. The foundation directly supports Techo, an organization present in 19 Latin American countries, which seeks to end poverty that millions of people live in through the joint action of its inhabitants and young volunteers. Today, we're sitting down with Pelayo Achondo and Araceli Ledesma of Techo, where Pelayo is the Regional Director of Development who joins us from Miami, and Araceli is a community leader based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Also joining us today is Jimenez, chef and owner of La Casita, one of La Cosecha's resident retailers. Today, we're here to discuss the intersection of entrepreneurship, community philanthropy, and Latin American culture. Fun fact, a portion of every purchase at La Cosecha supports the work of the foundation and Techo, in addition to fundraising from public supporters, strategic partners, and sponsorships. So, let's get right into it. First, I want to learn about each of your respective organizations. Araceli, we can begin with you and your work with Techo.
Ara, ahí que cuentes un poquito de quién eres tú y cuál es tu experiencia con Techo.
Ok, bueno, mi nombre es Araceli Ledesma, como bien lo dijo Andrea, y soy referente comunitaria ya hace 8 años acá en la comunidad de Lago Marcino Pilar, en Buenos Aires, Argentina. Y mi experiencia fue un poco, divertida, porque yo escuchaba un programa radial también, y escuché la experiencia de los voluntarios trabajando en las comunidades. Y lo increíble de esto es que escuché que ellos iban con propuestas de mejoras comunitarias. Y muchas veces esas propuestas tendrían que salir desde los vecinos. Entonces me llamó mucho la atención saber que ellos venían con todas sus herramientas para potenciar esas comunidades a los vecinos, y ellos tenían mucho ánimo de mejorar esas comunidades y acompañar a los vecinos en las propuestas de mejoras, ¿no?, habitacional.
Gracias, Ara. What Ara said is she has been working with Techo for the last 8 years. She said that it was a really fun story because she heard actually on the radio that a couple of volunteers was working in this land that she lived, and she started participating in those works. She has been working for the last 8 years in a community roundtable with Techo and the neighbors of Lago Marcino, Buenos Aires, Argentina. That is the place that she lives right now.
All right, that's great. I love that. We would like to hear a little bit about how the support of La Cosecha has impacted your efforts. And again, we can go back to Araceli.
Excellent. I will actually, Andrea, I will take that question. So I don't know if you guys know, but we are a youth-led non-profit organization in America and the Caribbean that work in slums. That actually is the place where I met Ara 2 years ago. We work through volunteers, and as Techo, we search a just, equal, and integrated society without poverty, in which all people can fully exercise their rights and duties and have opportunity to develop their capacities. As Techo, when we talk about poverty, it's a concept beyond the lack of income. it's about other deficiency that poverty means as dimensions, like, for example, education, health, work, social security, housing, of course. As you guys know, and the partnership with La Cosecha, what that means is that they are supporting us in Latin America and the Caribbean. To know, right now, Latin America and the Caribbean is the most unequal region on the planet. 104 million people live in this situation. In Techo, we define the word slum like a rural neighborhood with people who live without electricity, formal connection to water, and housing, of course. And right now, one of the things that is the most important between the partnership between La Cosecha and Techo is that the UN right now is predicting 45 more million of people living in this situation after the coronavirus pandemic. So that's why it's so important, not only La Cosecha, but as well the other organization that Techo works around the 19 countries that we're working.
It's so great to hear that you guys are working towards those efforts. It's so important now more than ever with obviously the pandemic that's happening. Let's move to Iris, and we'll talk about you, your business, and your partnership with La Cosecha.
Hi, Andrea. Thanks so much for having me here in the Union Market District Radio. So my name is Iris Jimenez. I am a culinary director and co-founder of La Casita Pupuseria. And we just opened up our location at La Cosecha in August. And we are obviously very excited to be able to be at La Cosecha, which is a Latin American hub for all that is food, art, culture, music. It's a really amazing space. And it's really exciting for us to be able to bring our food and bring our culture and our flavor and be able to represent. So we're excited to be at La Cosecha.
I love that. You're in a great addition. How is your Latin heritage a part of your organization's work and your business? And how has the culture influenced your output? So
for us at La Casita, a large aspect of what we do is tell a story. And I feel like with every dish that we make, these are recipes that have been passed down for generations. And it's very significant for us to continue to represent not only our food and our culture, and being a Salvadoran American, obviously not being born in El Salvador and really having that experience in this country, have it be very impactful and be able to resonate with the community as far as the food we serve, as far as the different events we do. Just 2 weeks ago, we did our grand opening event at La Cosecha, and it was a free event, which was our grand opening. It was on the plaza, and it was an amazing event because it incorporated everything that we do, which was amazing food that represents our culture. We had free minutas, free elotes de feria, which is like our version of shaved ice, and corn on the cob, Salvadoran style. And then we also had an amazing artist, Salvadoran artist, Joanna Torreño, who is has an amazing series called the Unapologetic Street Series. And she was able to bring her free community art and really kind of encompass everything that we do, as far as really being able to have food that is accessible and art that is accessible to everyone. So it was a big aspect of kind of the mix of both that we like to do, which is kind of incorporating culture into everything we do. So.
Fantastic. And I cannot wait to try the elote because that is one of my favorite dishes.
I agree.
Araceli, I'll direct the question to you. Again, it's how is your Latin heritage a part of your organization's work and your business? And how has your culture influenced your output?
Ara, la pregunta es ¿cómo crees? Hoy día se está viviendo el mes latino en Estados Unidos y la pregunta es ¿cómo crees que afecta hoy día la situación que vive Latinoamérica y la cultura latina que tú vives ahora que has estado en comunicación con otros países, con otras referentes comunitarias? ¿Cómo crees que afecta la cultura latina en el trabajo que ustedes están haciendo con Techo?
Afecta positiva siempre. O sea, es increíble pensar, he tenido las intervenciones, por ejemplo, en El Salvador y en Ecuador. He podido tener charla con varios referentes y la verdad que me sorprende muchísimo que es una de las características que tiene toda Latinoamérica. Hay muchas cuestiones de la pobreza, algunas mucho más marcadas y otras no tanto, pero se criminaliza muchas veces las personas que vivimos en los asentamientos o en los barrios populares. Y eso es algo que me llena de tristeza, ¿no? Como viviendo en el 2020, personas que tengan que seguir siendo criminalizadas y marcadas por una situación de pobreza. Creo que hay mucho por aprender todavía, mucho por transmitir, pero estoy enormemente agradecida por estas empresas, estas organizaciones, que son las que hacen que las cosas sean visibles y hablar mucho más de las cosas buenas que pueden generar los asentamientos o los barrios populares en toda Latinoamérica. Personas, y hay un dato interesante, el 70% de las personas somos mujeres, las referentes que llevamos adelante el trabajo comunitario y el desarrollo social del hábitat en cada barrio popular o asentamiento. Y eso es algo increíble, como la mujer, que a pesar de que tiene que ser madre, tiene que ser educadora, una maestra en la situación de pandemia, hoy es mucho más resiliente, tienen unas cuantas características las mujeres, y creo que todavía hay mucho por hacer, pero creo que estamos levantando mucho la voz las mujeres para que seamos más escuchadas, y creemos que tenemos el potencial suficiente para poder hacerlo. Amo ser mujer, amo estar en este rol, y amo también saber que somos sujetos de derecho y que podemos llegar a tener una ciudad más igualitaria, más sin pobreza y más desigual, ¿no? Queremos dejar de ser desigual. ¿Por qué nosotros no podemos tener los derechos solamente por ser pobres? Y esa es la pregunta, ¿no? ¿Solo por ser pobres no tenemos los mismos derechos que cualquier persona?
Buenísima respuesta, Ara. So I will separate her answer in two ways. The first thing that she said in a positive way is that in Latin America and the Caribbean, she has been meeting with other community leaders from other countries, for example, El Salvador, she said, and one of the things that she realized is the empathy that live in the Latina blood with all the community leaders that they were working with. They're actually Araceli, she's participating in a space with more community leaders from different slums in Latin America. And what she said about the culture of the Latin American effort is that as a society, as a region, we have been, of course, that we know that is the most unequal region on the planet, but as Techo and as another organization from another community leaders from another organization, they have been working together for just one cause, that is to overcome poverty in the region. From the other side, in a negative way, she said that saying that Latin America and the Caribbean is the most unequal region on the planet, and actually 1.5 in 10 people live in a slum situation. One of the things that Araceli remind is that sometimes those situations create like a tag for people who live in those situations. Like, for example, when you go to a slum, for example, where Araceli lives, some of the racism, some of the machismo that the society lives, actually she highlight that today we are working with 2,000 community leaders, and 70% of those community leaders are women. And actually, Araceli, she's one of them. Today, Techo's heart, it's female. They are working together. Today you have stories like Araceli, that they are transforming Islam into communities, because it's not the same human rights that people get in Islam than in a community. And not only saying about basic services as water and electricity, but of course, the empathy that they get from non-profit that they are working with them, and of course, putting effort in the same work as a community leader. So, and the last thing that Araceli said is that this situation, of course, can be eradicated not only with help from organizations and donors, for example, but the society as one.
That's excellent. I take a lot of my own culture and translate that. I'm half Mexican, and so a lot of my comedy and what I work through in my scripts always comes from my background. And I think it's very important to take from what we know and turn it into something very positive. And I love to hear that there is a large portion of your organization is made up of women, which is so important right now. And it's great that it's represented, because I also experience lack of women representation in the entertainment business. That was great. Thank you so much. And I will also direct this question to Araceli again. Why is it important that you share these Latin experiences with people who patron your organization? And what are you hoping to accomplish?
Ara, la pregunta, Andrea, es ¿por qué es importante para ti, una referente comunitaria, explicarle y mostrarle a las empresas, por ejemplo, en este caso a la Cosecha, qué es lo que está pasando en los asentamientos? Como, ¿cuál es el objetivo de poder involucrar a empresas y organizaciones en la situación que está pasando en los asentamientos?
Bueno, sin duda es imprescindible el acompañamiento de muchos actores, en principal el Estado, ¿no? Para mejorar estas cuestiones habitacionales y poder tener una mejor calidad de vida. Ahora, muchas veces no sucede eso, la ayuda del Estado no siempre es al 100%, algunas es totalmente nula. Entonces es importante que estas organizaciones, que las empresas, puedan acompañar este proceso de mejora habitacional para las personas que vivimos en los asentamientos. Digo que sería como un sueño, ¿no? Que todos los actores principales de la sociedad civil, la escuela, la iglesia, las empresas, sean partícipes de como una mesa multidisciplinaria. Creo que ese marcaría un antes y un después, porque se podría trabajar mucho más alineado y con mucho más fuerza hacia un solo propósito, que es mejorar la calidad de vida, lo vuelvo a repetir. Y a veces cuesta mucho poder tener esas mesas, pero estamos impulsando mucho, nosotros hemos impulsado una ley donde hubo muchas organizaciones y ha logrado un antes y un después, y hemos ganado una ley, algo así tan importante. Y sin el apoyo de las organizaciones y las empresas, apostando hasta que la ayuda llegue, muchas veces es más rápida. La ayuda de la empresa es como mucho más rápida para que eso sea más rápido de hacer y más factible a la hora de generar más impacto en los asentamientos o los barrios.
What she says is, without doubt, it's very important that organization, companies, and corporate help us in our work. What she said is that sometimes people that is living in slum is waiting for governments to help them. So what Araceli said is that it's really important that every actor of the society is involved in this work. Not only companies, corporate, but the sector public, private public, and of course, sometimes with the government and public sector, they don't get to this territory where we work. It's really important to, like Araceli said, to create a round table, like a work round table with different actors in the society. Actually, she highlighted that a couple of years ago in Argentina, Araceli with her team and a couple of organizations, they pushed a new law in Argentina where they can show in a formal way how many slums are today in Argentina, and of course that they want to do the same with other countries. So I think in this answer, Araceli mixed a little bit about the Latin American culture and what they are doing in Argentina, and as a highlight and as a brief, she said that the corporate support is really, really helpful, and the idea is to create more and more support, not only from the private sector, but as the public sector as well.
Especially, and talking about it is a great way to get attention from people that can help. So that's great to hear. Iris and La Casita, why is it important to preserve cultural heritage through the goods and the services that you provide?
Well, interestingly enough, I was actually just having this conversation a few days ago with my siblings, and a big factor of our business obviously goes back to my parents. I mean, they migrated to this country in the 70s with the dream, the American dream, right? From El Salvador to create something, to build something. And when they started, obviously with their first business in the 80s, I mean, that was basically the major concept, creating a space where people could come get the things that they need, that they miss, the nostalgia factor from the goods that they had in El Salvador, and have them here when they started with their market concept. And then as it kind of changed and became a restaurant with La Casita, fast forward in 2002, it really was about that. It was partially, one, the nostalgia factor, really enjoying the foods that they grew up with. And now, in this case, enjoying the foods that for the community that they enjoy, and then kind of elevating them to the next level of incorporating ingredients that you get here in the US. So it really is kind of that mix for us of creating that. And also a big factor for them was to maintain certain aspects of their life, whether it be the language, being, that we are able to speak Spanish, that we were able to enjoy the music, cumbia, and things that they used to listen to. And so I think that has really mixed and incorporated into what we do at La Casita, which is kind of that feeling, which is an emotional connection to the food and to the culture. So I think that that's kind of been a big factor of how we've preserved the cultural heritage.
It's so important, especially when the food is made with love and the culture is within that. And it's so great to have you right here. And what does it, this is again for Iris, what does being a Latina entrepreneur mean to you? I know, especially my family, they were so forceful for me to make something of myself. And I can't wait to hear your experience with that.
Well, that's an interesting question. I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was thinking about the fact that entrepreneurship is really a mindset, and I think that even when Araceli was talking about her experience with her community work and everything that it's doing with Techo, and Pelayo has mentioned as well, it really is about creating opportunity and having the courage to do it. And I think that a lot of the times in my case, as far as, there's a lot of reasons not to, there's obviously economic reasons, family reasons, so many reasons to be scared and to not be fully committed to something. But in my case, and as anyone who's passionate about anything, when you commit to something and you give it 100%, entrepreneurship is a way of life. So I think for me, that's kind of been the concept, and being able to be a woman and be at the forefront of a company and be able to represent women and be able to have a voice at the table is an important factor, not only for myself and my personal business, but restaurateurs in general, Latino businesses in general, Latina business owners in general, which is obviously a very small part of the pie, right? So any case that you can inspire, any way that you can create, any way that you can allow new opportunities, I feel is a huge aspect for what I want to represent, for what our company wants to represent, which is female leaders, and just really empowering and fostering that feeling in other women. So
definitely, it is a state of mind. There's no room for failure. That's what I think about. I'm like, okay, I just need to put myself in that space and make sure that I'm carrying that out in every day that we're working. You touched on this, but if you want to add anything to this question, how important is it that we foster entrepreneurship and economic empowerment in Latino communities? I definitely think you talked about that, but again, if there's anything else that you wanted to add, we would love to hear it.
Well, I think it's super important. And I think that obviously, like I mentioned before, the biggest factor about it is that when you allow diversity in business, and whether that be age diversity, whether that be obviously cultural diversity, race diversity, it really does allow to have creativity. And I think that that's a big aspect, just in sitting together with actually some of the other partners at La Cosecha, being able to sit and talk about ideas and concepts really does open your eyes, because everyone has individual experiences. So when you have that experience, that idea of what your vision is, what your mission is, what your concept is, and you listen to other people's ideas and concepts, it can only enhance what you do. So I feel like not creating any kind of competitive energy, even among Latino businesses, which sometimes can be the case. With my parents, it was really difficult because sometimes they felt like amongst themselves, they didn't want to share information because it was like that fear, like there can only be one pupuseria, there can only be one this, there can only be one this. You can't have multiple success stories. Like it was not a thing. So I think that now it's like there is no concept behind that. Like if we all, one of us succeeds, we all succeed. So I think that that's kind of the idea that we should have going forward. And I think that in La Cosecha, that's a huge factor of my love of being there, is kind of creating that energy with the other partners. So
collaboration is key, and something I always say is rising tides lifts all ships. So when one of us succeeds, we can share the good practices, and then we can all succeed. And then should never be a bad, or like a competition between business owners. We need to collaborate. That's what's so important. I love to see that at La Cosecha. All right, so I'm going to talk again with Araceli. How does entrepreneurship and economic development factor into your mission abroad in the fight against poverty?
Ahora, lo que Andrea pregunta es que ¿cómo crees que cómo crees que afecta el emprendimiento, el emprendedurismo dentro de los mismos asentamientos? ¿Cómo crees que eso puede ayudar al desarrollo comunitario hoy día?
Bueno, justamente estamos emprendiendo nosotros en el barrio. Imagínense que la situación de la pandemia, el COVID-19, ha arrasado la economía terriblemente en los asentamientos, bueno, en todos los países, ¿no? Pero imagínense cuán aún más en estos barrios más vulnerables. Justamente nosotros iniciamos hace un mes un programa de emprendedurismo y sin duda lo que queremos lograr y lo que logra este tipo de emprendedurismo es que las familias puedan ser autosuficientes. Las familias no tengan que depender y no sean asistencialistas. Si bien hay momentos que no te lleva, la situación te lleva a ser asistencialista, la idea es de potenciar la capacidad de cada vecino o vecina de los asentamientos para no tener que depender de ningún Estado. Sí, me gustaría a mí idealmente que dependan solamente en situaciones urgentes. No toda la vida, porque hay gobiernos que también les gusta tener personas que dependan de ellos. Entonces, la idea es poder brindarles estas herramientas para que ellos puedan ser autosuficientes, puedan desarrollar su potencial y puedan ser microempresas, y que también en la misma comunidad se cree, no sé cómo es la palabra exactamente, pero que pueda haber un circuito de desarrollo comunitario, un mercado interno. Eso sería lo ideal. Lo ideal.
Gracias,
Hay que
Ara.
acompañar fuertemente.
Así es. So she's saying that the pandemic has been really hard, of course, not only in Argentina, but in the whole world, but specifically in the slums. Actually, Araceli said that they created in his house and with the neighbors, they created an entrepreneurship program for families. So the objective of that program is so the families, they don't depend of government and organization, but they depend themselves. So actually they created, she told me this morning, they create a vegetable plot for all the community, so they don't have to depend in funds, in donation, and they can be like auto-sustainable in their own way. Actually, Araceli, she's leading the entrepreneurship program in his settlement, and one of the ideas that they have is actually to not only be like a community development program, but to be like a female empowerment as well.
Fantastic. I hope to get involved myself with that, and I hope our listeners are able to lend a hand in that as well. I'm excited to move the conversation to talk about what's going on at your businesses right now and your organizations. Iris, if you want to start, how are you all celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month?
Well, we've been celebrating since it started on September 15th, which is Central American Independence Day. El Salvador, yes. And so obviously we've been celebrating, so we've been thankful to be able to, push forward a conversation in every way, shape, and form. I mean, from everything from the art that we've been exhibiting right now like I had mentioned with the Unapologetic Street Series, we actually still have the community art box at La Cosecha. And just yesterday, she put free art in there, and it's a really cool thing. I hope everyone can come check out. And obviously for us, obviously focusing on food, really bringing in like the foods of our childhood, constantly with changing it up with the pupusas, and really focusing on elote de ferias and minutas and things like that we used to eat at festivals, and just really enjoying that aspect of that celebration. So that is kind of how we've been celebrating. And obviously big factor is keeping everyone safe during this time, you know, really keeping that in mind, and, you know, making sure that our events are like very safe. We actually have another, an Instagram live cooking show that we're doing on October 15th in the Immersion Studio at La Cosecha, and it'll be live. So obviously everyone can see from home safely. And we'll be talking about pupusas and culture, kind of how the pupusa made its way to DC. It should be cool to be able to talk to everyone about that. So we'll be doing that on October 15th. So yes.
Great. Mark that down on your calendars. What does celebrating Voces Latinas mean to you? If you have any follow-up comments, Iris, if you want to answer that, that's our follow-up question.
Okay, perfect. Well, for me, Voces Latinas is about celebrating diversity, freedom of expression, and celebration of our cultural backgrounds. I feel like my voice, I'm a Salvadoran American, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a chef, I'm a lot of things. And so that voice, that experience, that kind of background is my own. And I think that when you celebrate me and you celebrate Araceli and you celebrate Andrea and Pelayo and Bakari, everyone on here and everyone that we know, it's like a celebration of each individual person. And when we do that, it creates this beautiful kind of like quilt of expression. And I think that that is kind of where we are, you know, as far as being able to celebrate one voice at a time, you know, because we only conversate one-to-one, right, as human beings. And I think that every time you take the time to connect with someone, with one person, you to the larger scale yourself.
Great to hear. We'll move the question to Araceli. How are you all celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with Techo?
Ahora preguntan, hoy día están celebrando el mes de latino fuera. Yo sé que en América Latina, de hecho, no se celebra tanto ese mes, pero Iris habló mucho de la diversidad y le gustaría saber cuál es tu opinión respecto a eso, qué significa también para ti la diversidad y qué significaría celebrar para ti como el mundo latino. ¿Qué recalcarías del mundo latino y también incluyendo para ti lo que significa la diversidad?
Bueno, siento que hay mucho que trabajar sobre eso, pero es importante poder tener en cuenta siempre la diversidad en todos los espacios, que somos olvidados muchas veces en ese espacio de diversidad y de aceptación hacia la otra persona, ¿no? Creo que hay mucho por trabajar sobre eso, pero celebro estas instancias, celebro que puedan conocer la cultura de cada uno de nosotros a lo largo de toda Latinoamérica y que puedan entender cómo es nuestra cultura, cómo nos movemos, cuán solidarios somos, ¿no? Porque hay una cuestión humana detrás de cada país, de cada persona, y celebro que podamos unificarnos mucho más, que podamos abrazarnos, y más en esta situación tan difícil de pandemia también, y las catástrofes y todo eso, pero creo que hay algo muy lindo, que es un espíritu del querer ayudar, de querer ser más empático con el otro. Eso es algo que celebro mucho en cuanto a la diversidad.
Yeah, she said that actually in Latin America, we don't celebrate a lot the Heritage Month. So it will be like backward, but what Araceli said that and took some of the Iris, what Iris said is that she celebrates diversity. She celebrates that in other countries they will celebrate Latino Month, knowing that behind each country it's a different culture, She celebrates that diversity. That's women today are having a more open space in each conversation, not only for nonprofit, but in the private sector as Iris with her business. And one of the things that she said is that she celebrates to having this kind of a space to talk and learn not only about different cultures, but to talk and have the space to represent a gender that for years has been oppressed, and to then have a huge voice, and this space help to share not only the voice and the causes and problems that Araceli and Techo and the nonprofit is working, but as well her expression of how he see life and how he see Latina.
Thank you so much. And another follow-up, as I asked Iris, what does celebrating Voces Latinas mean to Araceli?
Ara, ¿qué significa este programa Voces Latinas que representa hoy día la cultura latina? ¿Qué significa para ti como celebrar la cultura latina? ¿Qué cosas se te vienen a la mente cuando te dicen la cultura latina?
Es muy difícil poder responder eso, pero creo que la cultura latina, wow, no, se me puso en blanco un poco la mente, pero creo que es la cultura latina es la fuerza amigable para mí, la fuerza con un espíritu muy alegre, muy, no sé cómo explicarlo en este momento, pero cada vez que se habla, veo muchos programas de Estados Unidos y como ven un latino y lo que más le llama, que siempre es muy resiliente, puede salir de todo, como tiene una fuerza especial y una alegría, unas ganas de bailar o por ahí, bueno, acá compartimos mucho mate, estamos mal y compartimos mate, bueno, ahora no se puede compartir mate, pero siempre es poder abrazar al otro, poder sostener y poder ser más empático, y creo que la resiliencia es lo que más puedo resaltar de toda Latinoamérica.
She said that her mind was in white because she couldn't think something like specific, but one of the things that she said is that she will celebrate empathy. She said that Latina culture is a happy culture with a lot of dance. She has been watching some US program, and she realized that in the US and other country, they see like Latina people as someone happy, able to help, empathy, and of course that there are different cultures inside Latin America, but she will say that in 2 words, she will say that it's like a resilience and flexible culture with a empathy, with an action of empathy every time that we have a crisis, and of course like a happy culture as able to help in any case.
Beautifully said, Araceli. I love that question. I think we get to learn so much about what you guys do and the work. It is so true that they are resilient, especially in a time of pandemic. And I also want to ask Araceli her thoughts on this. Why is it so important to give back to Latin American countries during this time? I know she works so hard, both Araceli and Iris, and we would love to learn more for our listeners and how they can get involved and why it's so important.
Ahora le gustaría saber por qué es importante contar con el apoyo del resto de la población latina, no solo en el trabajo que tú estás haciendo, sino que también en los negocios como tiene Iris. ¿Por qué es importante para ti que la gente ayude y qué mensaje dejarías para que la gente apoyara, no solo personas, sino que también empresas, organizaciones?
Es súper importante que puedan acompañar, porque detrás de ese aporte, de lo que pueda llegar a aportar, hay un lado muy humano. Nosotros siempre invitamos a todas las empresas, no solamente con su aporte, sino que a construir, a realizar veredas, a poder llevar a cabo un proyecto barrial, porque que ellos vengan a plantar un árbol con nosotros, como que puedan ver que no solamente con nuestro aporte monetario, hay una cuestión muy humana y una personificación de cada individuo que vive en esos barrios, que lo he escuchado como testimonio a los empresarios que han venido a colaborar al barrio, se han embarrado sus pies, se han lastimado con el martillo, pero ellos se han ido llorando del impacto que generan en cada comunidad. Es increíble porque vos podés estar detrás de su oficina y hacer un clic y poder donar todo el dinero que vos quieras. Ahora, hay un antes y un después para cuando pisás ese lugar y ves lo que está sucediendo en una comunidad, lo increíble cómo se ayudan mutuamente los vecinos y todas las cosas que hacemos nosotros para poder sobrevivir a cuando las cosas no suceden. Entonces, creo que es importantísimo que las empresas puedan aportar monetariamente, pero también les invito a que puedan ir a ese lugar donde pueden ver claramente qué es lo que pasa con su aporte. Y marca un antes y un después, se los aseguro. Hemos abrazado, hemos llorado junto a esos empresarios y es algo tan lindo, tan humano que es indescriptible muchas veces. Así que celebro mucho que haya empresas pudiendo aportar y llevar su parte humana y ver, ¿no? Cómo sacarse esa mascarilla de los ojos y poder vivir y personificarse en un día de la vida de cada vecino o vecina que viva en esa comunidad.
She's happy, Andrea, that you asked that question because our work with Ara and Techo is not just asking people to donate money with a click. It's more to create a bridge between two sides of the society that are pulled apart. She said that the most important thing for her is not like the money and the funds that we raise, is the chance to know new people. Like, for example, she said that she has some story with some CEOs of companies that they went to the slum, they laugh, they cry together, they get emotional, because it's different when you donate money to be in the territory, helping the families. Araceli has been working in Techo for the last 10 years, so she has met a lot of people from companies, and she said that when they get to the territory and when they see the reality with their own eyes, like everything changed. Actually, one of Ara's work is not only being a community leader, but anytime that a company go to the slum and they construct a house with them, because Araceli has been in a lot of constructions with companies. So with Techo, we bring company to the territory and build with us the houses for the family. What she thinks that is super important is not just the donation, but it's the human part of the donation. It's not just the click on the computer and put donate, but being in the territory, being with the family, know the families, and have the experience to have a day or two being in the same life as that the people is living today on the slum. So she said that is super important, and that she highlight that the effort of not only of people but of organization being in territory is the most important thing of the effort of not only organization but as people as well.
I completely understand that, and I can imagine, you have to see it in order to really feel it, and that I'm so glad that you brought that up as well. It's not just the click of the button. So I encourage everybody not only to donate, but also if they have the chance and the financial freedom to do that, to actually visit and see for themselves. That's great. What is coming down the line for Techo? Araceli, we can talk about that. And also, what is the best way for people to get involved? Because I know a lot of our listeners will be very interested in that.
Ahora, Andrea pregunta, ¿cuál crees que son los siguientes objetivos de Techo? Como hacia dónde crees que está yendo el trabajo de Techo y cómo crees que las personas pueden aportar de mejor manera. Primero, hacia dónde crees que va Techo como organización.
Bueno, Techo tiene varias patas importantes, ahí después lo más quizás técnico que pueda aportarlo va a ser Pelayo, pero algo que, digamos, me convenció del trabajo, ¿no? Cuando conocí la organización, es saber que tienen una visión humana, sobre todo, porque no hay muchas organizaciones sociales que no solo pueden llegar a decir, trabajamos para los vecinos o lo que quieras, pero nuestra intervención o nuestro acompañamiento desde el barrio es puramente vinculante. El Techo, trabajando con los referentes, hace que el referente pueda opinar o hacer una crítica constructiva, co-crear junto con la organización. Y eso no pasa en todas las organizaciones sociales, ¿sí? Nosotros podemos decir, no queremos, o vamos por ahí. Eso es importante porque de esa manera la organización puede cambiar. Pero la visión que tiene Techo es empoderar, formar a los referentes y referentes comunitarias. La visión es también lograr la pobreza cero, que es una misión muy, muy difícil, pero no imposible. Entonces, vamos hacia ese camino, empoderando a los vecinos, llevándole herramientas, lograr que tengamos esa convicción de que somos sujetos de derecho. Eso marca un antes y un después para las comunidades, para los referentes, y poder lograr que todos los actores de la sociedad civil puedan acompañar para lograr más ciudades más justas, igualitarias y sin pobreza. Esa es la misión.
Excelente, Araceli. She said that the vision of Techo is not just go to a slum, help, and go home. The thing about Techo and the families that we work with and with Araceli is that we create a long-term proposal for work. One of the things that she realized about Techo is that they are really, that she said that Techo is really like connected in a human way. The Techo just does not like send a house that they can construct in one day and go home, but they get connected with the family, they get connected with the culture, because every settlement and slum have different cultures. And one of the things that she highlighted is that the Techo give her the space to open and decide. They, with the families, they decide, we want to construct a house, we want to build a road, we want to do different projects. So one of the things that she highlighted is that Techo has given to her the space to decide what to do and to solve the problem from the slum to outside and no backwards. Because one of the things that she said is sometimes like the sector public and government, they come with a solution, but the solution, we cannot apply it to the slum. So the difference with Techo and others nonprofit is that the Techo get connected with the culture, with the families, and leave an open space for community leaders or as Araceli to get involved, to decide, and to make a change. Actually, what she said at the end is that Techo has given to her the option to see and realize that she has human rights. And when a person realizes that she has human rights, she has the chance to start, for example, studying to say, okay, how am I going to demand for human rights? Because she said, if I have human rights and I don't know how to demand it, I will be in the same spot. So she said that Techo opened the option to her to study, to develop their capacity to demand for human rights, and to, of course, that space to study and learn has given her to space to be participating in other work tables, not only with Techo and the private sector, but with other neighbors as well.
Great, thank you so much. We will also be able to, at the end, give you guys a chance to tag all your information, the websites, and any social media so that people can find you an easier way. This has been a fantastic conversation. I'm both inspired by you two women. You're incredible. And I hope this conversation has been eye-opening for some people. They've learned today. I know I have, and I am absolutely astonished at the work that you guys work on every day. It's absolutely so important. And the most important thing is for us to discuss these topics. I think that's the easiest way for people to learn. So I'm so honored that I was able to be a part of this conversation. We'll start with Iris. Where can people follow you and your business, and also to get more information about upcoming events?
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. You can follow me at Chef Iris Jimenez. You can follow La Casita at La Casita Pupusas. You can go to our website for www.lacasitapupusas.com. You can also go to La Cosecha website. We're on there as well for all the upcoming events. www.lacosechatc.com, and then at La Cosecha as well. So we're on all those platforms, so you can definitely find out what's going on with us.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Iris. I've had the pupusas. They're delicious. And I recommend everybody check out them at La Cosecha because I love stopping by you guys' La Casita. And Araceli, for you, where can people follow you? The website, learn more about the business, spread anything that you would like that people can find you.
Ahora preguntan dónde pueden encontrar más información de Techo. Si quieren les puedo decir sobre la página web y las redes sociales, ¿te parece?
Yes.
Okay, Andrea, you can find us in the website techo.org and in our movement as well. That is theimpactpact.com and in our social media in Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Techo US. So in those platforms, you can find us.
Thank you, Pelayo. And as well with Techo, is there a place to donate? Techo.org as well? Is there a little tab that people can find?
Exactly. Actually, right now you can donate on La Cosecha website and in the empathypact.com as well. So both sites are excellent.
Great. Thank you guys so much for joining our conversation today. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you all for joining us today on Union Market District Radio for our program, VOCES Latinas. I've been your host, Andrea Lopez. You can follow me on IG at Andrea Lopez Comedy, as well as my YouTube channel, Andrea Lopez. I have some comedy on there. I know we're all going through difficult times, so I think these enlightening stories are so great to share, and hopefully my comedy as well. You can find more episodes and cool conversations on Union Market District Radio on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll speak with you next time.